Are you done? Close to $150, $177, $750 to $1.
All right, so main event's not like a great game, but it's a really fun game, and it's been a long time since we've seen one in that kind of condition. It's also a great 4-player cabinet that can be used for a lot of different games. It's famous for having this huge action button, so you just run around, smash, smash, smash. So great barcade game. Not like one of those all-time classics, but something we've been trying to add for a while. Good one came up. I mean, the wood is solid. I would have preferred to pay like $500, $550, but $750, no big deal. Really, really happy. Probably my favorite buy of the day so far. All right, so the interesting pricing continues. We have, if you watch in the locker, there was a tapper cabinet that had been converted to a trug and then turned into like a multi-kit. So it's terrible. It just sold for like $750, which is, you know, tapper's a rare game and it's a great cabinet, but there were going to be a lot of parts and pieces that you're going to have to find to get that back together. Whereas a good tapper's selling for about $2,000 without color and maybe $4,000 to $5,000 with color. So really interesting. I hope you really have a lot of parts if you're paying $750 for a tapper cabinet. It's just basically naked cabinet. All right, so one of the nice things about a lot of the dedicated Atomiswave cabinet games was they had very rarely had screen burn or anything like that because the games were programmed to not cause that. So we've got a nice Sports Shooting USA coming up. Now that's a game that we would never put out. It's a really good monitor. So I want to pay like $200, but I'm really worried it's going to be like $600, $700, or $800.
$250, $300. I'm at $250, I'm going down here to $3, down $300, I'm getting down here to $253. I'm at $250 down, $3, down $300, I'm getting down here to $253. This is for a Sports Shooting USA. And $250 down, $75, now $3, down $325. I'm at $370, down $350. I'm at $325, now get it down here to $350, down get it down here to $350. So that's $325, $177.
So it was a little higher than I wanted it to be, but that monitor was great. Atomiswave cabinet, and we'll probably end up having to just sell the cabinet. But that 25-inch monitor was in wonderful shape. We'd pay $300-$400 for a monitor if that was at our door. I mean, maybe even $500 in that quality. So happy with the purchase, happy to get in and out, and happy it didn't go for $600 or $700 or $800. All right, so we're about 2 games away from this Xevious multicade, and we're gonna see kind of how strong the home buyer still is, because it's in pretty good condition, good monitor. It's got a generic 16-1 knockoff board. But it's playing okay. So if we see it going in that $500, $600, $700 range, those home buyers have saved some money, and the upcoming games might be a little more expensive. If it goes in that $300, $400 range, it'll probably mean that all the games from here on out, except for Pinball, will be relatively inexpensive. All right, so on that Xevious, we kind of learned everything's in the middle. The more I thought about it, though, the more I thought some of these resellers or the places that, you know, stock arcades that they sell to homes would really want that, but not a lot of them were going for it. It did seem like it was just the home buyers. $475 after fees, about $550, $560. So still a little bit of money out there, but not. It's definitely come down as this auction has gone on, and we're in hour 4, I think, of this auction. So we're really, really starting to push people. The crowd is thinning. I think we're about to see some really good deals.
25 down, 50, 75, 375, and 4, and 400, and 475, 425. I'm at 425, now 50, 75, 475. I'm at 450, now 55, now get it down here to 475. Anybody else? 475. Now 5.
Stop fixing it! Come on!
I'm at 545, yes or no? 520 now, 550, 75, 575.
Just ring it up. Golly. Yeah. All right, so the arcade operators, their job is to get the most money for each game. What happened there was they were tightening up Area 51 as the auction was going and squeezed me for about 100 extra. I would have liked to pay 450. It was just a minor adjustment. I got a home user that was willing to go up to 525 or 550. So helped get an extra 100 out of the bidder, which is good for the seller, good for the auction company, bad for us. And so I got a little frustrated at the auction because they were fixing it as it was going, where it was targeted at one bidder, trying to show them how easy it was to fix. But that's how this goes sometimes. It's a great purchase, great game. So we're super happy with it. And got a couple more that we might be buying coming up. All right, guys, so we mentioned this during the walkthrough. It kind of caught my eye. It's a Conversion Express Raider, which is a game I've kind of seen before, but never really played. We got to spend some time playing with it. It's really absurd. I don't know what we do with it, but I like the professionally done conversions that are still around from the 80s. This was clearly like late 80s conversion. Looks complete, looks good, so I'm excited about it. Yeah, all right. Hey, I'm in. What? What? Guys. Yo. What? Guys. Yes. And I said, yep. Sure. All right, now you can sell it. All right. So that was the Express Raider. They didn't see me. There's a pre-bid on it because there's a couple people that are building kind of cool arcades throughout the country that heard about these auctions. So they'll get the list of games and they'll send their top bid, and it's allowed to have a ghost bid or a max. Apparently, the person was willing to pay up to $600 or more. We were, around 500. I didn't want to go much higher. So, if nothing else, if you're watching this and you ghost bid on that game, sorry we're making you pay so much. I would have happily taken it for 500. I just wanted to buy something, so I bought something. That was probably 100 too much. It would have been nicer to get it at 200, but I've at least bought 4 games now. So I normally buy 20. It's a weird day. Happy to buy something that at least adds to our collection. It's a Jungle King. All right, hold on. A Jungle King? No, not Jungle King. Zookeeper. Sorry. Okay. So there were some people that are at the auction that were pretty unhappy about me paying $300 for that. And we were just trying to grab the MVS card. Turns out I wasn't even paying attention. It's in a Zookeeper cabinet, which is a rare, expensive, awesome title game that we're about to actually roll out. So I think everyone else didn't care at all about the game that was inside of it. They just wanted the cabinet. We only cared about the game. But now we got an extra Zookeeper cabinet, so that's cool too. The Star Trek Next Generation has been plugged in, but it doesn't have all its balls, or something's broken. So we're a big fan of this game. We have 2 of them in our collection, and we'll see if it goes into a range that we'd like to buy. In all honesty, we're trying to target games that complement our collection right now and aren't just duplicates. So, for example, Arabian Nights was something we were looking at. If it went into the more 5,500 range, we would have bought it. But we do already have a Next Generation. We have 2 Next Generations, 2 Twilight Zones, and we already have a Lord of the Rings. So some of these more obscure titles later might be more interesting for us. We'll see. Not even a bad price. I wish we didn't have so many of them.
And 38. I got 37 and a half. 38. I got 37. 38. 39. 39. I'm at 38, 39. I'm at 38. I'm gonna get it out here. Not 30, not 39. I'm gonna get it out here. Not 38, 39.
It's really tempting. If we didn't have two, like. Yep.
Yeah. 4,000. 4,000. And 4,000. 4,000. 39.50. 4,000. 4,000. Did you get 4? I got 4 up there.
So that was like an impulse.
4,000, Corey?
No.
Don't lose it for $50.
I got too many of them.
54.
Nah.
$4,000. Sold at $39.50, 134.
So on that one, I really didn't want to let it go too cheap, but we really do have 2 of them sitting in our warehouses right now, not even being used. And when you only have 3 arcades that are already filled with most of the pinball you want, it's kind of hard. Even if we got all 3 out, it would be a lot of, it might be too much Star Trek Next Generation, so.
Ready Nightmare! And right there now, how much everybody want to give? And right there down, $5 down, find the $5 down, $3,045. On the $6 get it out here, that's $25, get it out here, that's $6,25. $3 down, $3,000 get it out here, that's $25.
So someone's kid is bidding for him.
And 27, and 8, 28, now 9, 29. I'm at 28, down here at 29.
All right, so, I mean, we're seeing some record prices here. That was a pretty good Friday. It just wasn't a very fun game. I think it was a great introductory pinball. This is one of the first times I've ever played it, if not the first. But 3,000 plus fees, a little pricey for a game that's ultimately not great and was only going to be purchased for like an introductory pinball use, which we have lots of others that we use for the same reason. So, I mean, cool game. And it looks like the kid that was bidding is happy to win it. So that's good. All right, guys, so this has never happened before. Normally we buy a lot of stuff that we have no good plans for just because the prices are right, or we can like conceive of maybe using the board or the monitor or something like that. We bid on probably half the games here. We ended up buying, I think, 6. Is that 6? We bought 6 games. I've never had such a low buy. We bid on every single pinball that we were looking into. Ended up not winning a single one of them. We just, in frustration, I just went ahead and ditched on the Atari. Not because I didn't have a good plan for it. It's a game that we can probably never put on the floor, but it's been a frustrating day. We'll see how the next auction goes. And I still think we bought some good stuff, but even the stuff that we got, we probably paid too much. But prices were inflated here. We had some people, I think, that are trying to open up some arcades or barcades. We had a lot of home buyers for the December auction. And we just had some really bizarre behavior on some people that we would not expect to see that from. So we're gonna do a quick walkthrough, check out what we bought, and get the heck out of here. All right, so this is our absurdly priced $1,700 Qbert, plus buyer's fee and whatnot. We'll bring it up to about $2,000. It's in good condition, it's playing well. The downside to this exact game is, it's probably more of like a $1,200 to $1,300 game in like a good market. Paying 17 plus fees, too much. But at this point, we were pretty frustrated. We hadn't bought anything yet, and we thought, let's just kind of get that ball rolling by buying something, let people know we're here to buy. We didn't think it'd be so hard to buy stuff today. So that was our $1,700 Qbert. All right, so this, we don't know if it's a good buy yet or a bad buy. We know that there's an Atari Food Fight board in there. We don't know what's wrong with the game. Nothing was happening when they turned it on except for the marquee light turning on. So that really tells us nothing. Could be a power supply, could be a board, could be a monitor, could be everything that's just completely trashed. We don't know yet. $850 for this kind of condition cab, probably an overpay. But given the parts that we get with it, including an original PCB, if we're able to get it working, it would be a pretty awesome buy. So that's yet to be seen. Hopefully in some later YouTube content, we update you on what happened with this food fight. It is probably one of the last and most major Ataris that for whatever reason we've never added to the collection. And we've been checking off some of the final games on the list. This is one, and we'll see if we are able to get on the floor. So we've been trying to find unique, interesting 4-player games. Main Event has actually been on our radar for a while with the oversized action buttons, goofy Konami joysticks. We really like this game. We're not really sure if we'll release it as is, fix it up, release it to the floor. We also might be using it as kind of a multi-cabinet for a 4-player game. We've got a lot of 4-player PCBs that we've never been able to do anything with. So we bought this $750, definitely an overpay. I wanted to pay $500. That said, it's a pretty cool game, and it's a really cool game to find when you're, drinking a couple beers with your buddies and playing games. This is a good one. All right, dedicated Area 51. You see these actually, the market form is really bizarre. Sometimes you'll see them going into the 550 level. Sometimes you'll see it going more like $1,000. This was the one that they adjusted the focus on me while I was bidding. Turns out it's a gorgeous screen. Everything's playing. If they would have not adjusted it, we would have purchased it, fixed it, and been in it for like $100 less. But we've been trying to acquire an additional 2 or 3 Area 51s. Good pickup, good price. Happy to get out of here with it. You will never see this game on a free play floor. We've probably owned 5 or 6, maybe even more, throughout our history at free play. Gorgeous monitor, good 25-inch. It is a dedicated Atomiswave cab, so we could either potentially use the cabinet and repurpose the control panel, or use the monitor, which was gorgeous 25-inch. And for $325, can't really pass that up. The parts alone were substantially more to us. So just a quick parts buy, trying to get something going in the middle, trying to buy some extra games. Thought we'd end up with a lot more. All right, so we bought a lot of stuff today. Some of it was way too expensive. Some of it was perfectly priced. This was probably the best deal we got. A $35 Bubbles PCB that looks like it's in pretty good shape. We've had a Bubbles cocktail, a dedicated Bubbles cocktail that was out on the floor. We took it off for just, we kept trying to figure out the issues with it, and it kept having new issues. An extra PCB can never hurt in fixing it. So $35, Bubbles PCB in good condition. Really excited about that. So this was a MVS cart purchase, Zookeeper. We don't have it in the collection. We don't see it come up for sale very often, so we wanted to make sure we got it. What we didn't realize is that everyone we were bidding against was bidding because it's a Zookeeper cabinet. It's a beautiful title game. We actually have it coming out pretty soon. I assume they were buying it to restore. With any luck, we will either make sure that this goes into the hands of someone who's going to restore it, or restore it ourselves. And we're really happy to get that Zookeeper board. It's kind of like, this is the kind of hidden gold we were able to find today, while prices were just a lot more than we wanted to pay for the condition and quality that we were getting. And you've seen our walkers, we have just a ton of games, and we're trying not to buy the kind of stuff, or at least not overpay for the kind of stuff that's just gonna sit in the warehouse. So frustrating day, interesting day. Good for the people who brought games to sell. Probably a record-breaking day for the auction company, and we're happy we got some stuff, and we'll be back here next time.